the pterodactyl of morning talk radio. It's your host, Adam Josh.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the Morning Banana. My name is Adam Josh. That is what my mama named me. It is on my ID. You know, my parents could have named me Adam Joshua. Maybe they just weren't thinking very clearly. But I asked my mom one day, why did you name me Adam Josh? She said, well, your father wanted to name you Adam. Michael, because my dad's middle name is Michael. My name probably would have been Michael. My name probably would have been Michael if my mom didn't step in with some heavenly vision. But, yeah. I mean, ID right there. Adam, Josh, you see that? ID. That's my name. Hey, Constance. Yeah, so, I mean, I go by Adam. That is my first name. Josh is my middle name, and my last name is none of your damn business. I was listening to Living Sacrifice. When I was in Bible college, I used to like listening to Living Sacrifice. So I figured in this morning banana, I will tell you about being mega woke. I'm going to drop the hammer. We've been joking around this last little while, and lots of nunyas in the house. So we're at morning banana number 19. We've had 19 bananas. You know, I like to eat organic bananas, and these ones, somebody for the first time yesterday commented how the one I was eating was kind of a little bit too ripe, but this one's okay. This one, you know, I don't like to eat brown bananas, but the banana has to be right. So, but you know, let's drop the hammer a little bit and get mega woke. So when you get into seeking the truth, a lot of people are just getting into this, seeking the truth. What is the truth? What is the truth of anything? Are you telling me that Santa Claus isn't real? Like, so how do I get the presents every year? So some people just get into it. And it starts with stuff like that. Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, yada, yada, yada. And I decided to raise our kids, our adopted kids. I don't have kids of my own. I adopted a widow's children. So I'm going to lay it all out. The real me. Not that I've been showing you any other me, but let's lay it all on the line. After today's morning banana, you may not want to watch the show anymore. You may decide this guy is too crazy for us. Because being mega woke is not a weekend retreat. It's hitting rock bottom and then getting up from that and figuring how to live. I was talking to a guy yesterday, and people who get into this stuff, they hit a brick wall and they start freaking out. And you may know somebody who has done that. And you know, when you're talking about moving out to the forest and quitting your job and all that, these are serious things that we're getting into. Morning banana. So, I went to Bible college. I started in Bible college when I was 20. And my goal when I was 20 was to become a pastor or an evangelist. And that may sound crazy to many people, but I got to the point at 20 years old where I was like, okay, I want to know what's going on. And in my 20-year-old mind, this is before what we commonly look at as like social media, the internet, and whatnot. In my 20-year-old mind, I thought, well, I'll go to a local church and they'll be able to teach me about God, and that will give me some clarity as to what this all is and where we are all at. At the end of the day, you and I are here. I believe that you exist, I exist, we're here. So we can get caught up in debates about what we're doing here and why we're here and the shape of here, the dimensions of here, but the reality is we are here. I even wrote a song about that called But Here We Are. So I went to Bible college, and in the first year I did pretty good. Between the first year and second year, I traveled a bit. I actually preached in churches, believe it or not. It's hard to believe, but I did preach in churches. And I did the routine stuff. I gave food to the homeless. I helped out here and there. I visited elderly people and spoke to them in elderly homes and whatnot. All the standard stuff you would imagine a good person, good Christian who is on his way to becoming an evangelical pastor would do. I had missionaries and evangelical preacher guys come and prophesy over me. Some of them you might recognize if I start name dropping them. And then I started getting into, okay, well, like they always say in the original Greek and the original Hebrew, so, you know, I'm going to take it upon myself to go a little bit deeper here and learn Hebrew and Greek. At least enough that I can understand from a biblical perspective. So I started getting into researching Greek and Hebrew. I was pretty excited about that because then I found out my name is a Hebrew name. I didn't know that at the time, but Adam Yeshua would be my Hebrew name, or Adam Yeshua, Adam Yehushua, Adam, because my mom named me Josh, not Joshua, so it's like Adam Yesh. Anyway, so I was pretty stoked to find out that my name was Hebrew. I went through this phase of like, it's all meant to be, man. Like, I'm meant to be here, and my name is Adam Josh, and it's like I'm like I have a divine purpose in life. I get it. You know, and maybe I do, maybe I don't. But then I started researching more and more, and got a little bit deeper to the point where I was going messianic from Christian, and getting more into studying Torah. And then you go through phases of studying Torah and going into messianic practice, where you start realizing that all the names that we commonly refer to these deities as are pagan names. So a really good book that I recommend is Fossilized Customs by Lou White. If you can if you can handle the messianic stuff, a great book is Fossilized Customs by Lou White. I'm just telling you a quick banana-sized portion journey of how I came to this point from there. So it started when I was like 16, 17. I tried to kill myself when I was 16. I tried again a couple years later because I had moved out early, and I was never diagnosed with clinical depression, but the thing is, I looked around at 16 years old and I didn't want to live anymore. It's nothing to be depressed about. It's just, you know, people feel like they're in the wrong body these days. Trans people, some people feel like they're cats or wolves. I felt like everything was wrong. Everything was wrong. I was on the wrong planet. I was on the wrong body. Everything was wrong. I don't feel like a woman, for the record, but I just felt like everything was wrong. So when I tried to kill myself, there was no, there's not a lot of thought put behind it. It was I'm going to write a letter, blah blah blah. So I would say I would trace my path of being woke to there. Being not afraid to end your own life and to exit the matrix or whatever you can at that point. People say it's a coward's way out. I would agree now in hindsight, but when I was 16, I thought it was something brave. Don't listen to me. I'm just telling you what I thought when I was 16 years old. So a few years later, I wind up in Bible college. Okay, I'm alive. I've accepted the fact that I'm alive. But then I start researching into these original names, and okay, I find out that the Lord, is actually the Tetragrammaton, Yod Hey Vav Hey, or Yahuwah. And I start realizing, wow, like we're being lied to about the names and the dates, and we're being lied to about so much inside the 66 canonical books of what's commonly referred to as the Bible. Now, I could talk about the Bible and God and all kinds of things like that I was studying to be a preacher, so you can imagine how long I can talk about this. But I'm trying to let's get everybody up to speed and get mega woke. I want people who are watching this to understand where I'm coming from, because I'm not playing patty cake with certain things, and I'm not playing games with certain things. And one of those is the God of the Bible. And I need to make it really clear that through my studies, I got to the point where I realized that the God of the Bible is a mass murderer. And I know that many of you who are listening to me and have read the Bible know that, but you gloss over it. And I'm wondering why you gloss over it. So you know about Noah's flood, you know about the angel of death with the children of Israel coming out of Egypt, and you know about the book of Revelation when people are sent to the lake of fire. So those three examples off the top of any basic religious person's head who is into the Bible, you'll understand. So God is going to murder people. God's a mass murderer, right? Plagues, floods. So I'm going to fast track your brain here a little bit, and I need you to think about why you're glossing over that it's bad. Why is like Hitler and Mao is bad, right? To mass murder people is bad. But I want you to think about this mental trick that went on in your brain, that it's okay that God does it. I want you to think about that when you turn this video off, because I thought about that, and I went through that in between first and second year, and I realized I don't have an answer. I'm on the side of a mass murderer, and I'm not okay with that. And I got to a point in my own journey where I realized I'm covering up, and I want to be on the winning team. So it's like a group mentality, a herd mentality, a winning team mentality. I feel like because I'm on the winning team, I'm winning. I'm a part of a group. And these are like hard truths that you have to come to on your own journey. But I came to the point where I realized we're mired in so much deception that I was searching for truth and begging for truth. And I got a handful of sand and deception. Now, I'm not saying, people listen to me when I talk like this about the God of the Bible being a mass murderer. I usually do pop quizzes around family events, and I say, hey, off the top of your head, who do you think mass murdered more people, Hitler or the God of the Bible? And so it's a question that you need to decide what side you're on. I'm not saying there's two options, whether you pick a dualistic version's false light or synthetic darkness. I'm saying I started discovering deception and how badly we are deceived. Like I was saying, it starts with Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. And then here we are. Most of the people who are watching this video are flat earthers. So the journey eventually winds you up at questioning NASA, questioning your space agencies, and you become a flat earther, right? This is where the truth journey. If there was no lies, then none of us would be truthers. So it's kind of like, without a big demolition, you can't have a construction. This is how the Illuminati justify the one side of duality. We're incredibly evil and we do incredibly bad things because on the other side you have incredibly good things and positive things. I'm saying it's all baloney on both sides. Listen, the God of the Bible is a mass murderer. There's no two ways about it. And I'm extremely dead serious about that. Some of you may be like, this guy's being ridiculous right now. I'm being 100% serious. And if you are on the side of a mass murderer, I don't care about you anymore. So I'll talk to you, but listen, like I got my own life, my own family, my own kids, my own stuff going on here, and I don't need people like that in my life. That's fine. If you're on a truth journey and you want to, hear me out, we can chat. But people who side with a mass murderer It's like I don't want Nazis as friends. I don't want people who are into mass murder or justifying mass murder as friends. The only way that you can say that it makes sense if you're into like a Bible believer or a good Muslim is you say, well, God created everything. God created everything, so God has the right to destroy it. And there you are making excuses for a mass murder. Do you see where you just wound up? So, to be clear, I want to be 100% clear. This is where my truth journey led me. And I think if you're on a journey of seeking truth or becoming woke, this is where everybody winds up. You come to the point where God of the Bible, the God that you encounter, is threatening you with hell. And saying, you come to the point where you're pissing me off. And I'm going to send you to hell if you don't believe in me. What I'm saying is that we have to be willing on a journey of truth to go through that. You have to be willing to go through the threats of Hitler and to go through hellfire, because truth is on the other side of that. God will try to convince you that there's nothing on the other side of that. It's hell forever. Eternity in hell. It's not true. So, now, the real question is, okay, the God of the Bible we've established is a mass murderer. You know it and I know it. I'm not trying to convince you. It's true. Read the book of Genesis. It's 100% true. The God of the Bible claims to be responsible for genocides. Put it that way. And if we have to say the God of the Bible is anything, one thing he is a mass murderer. So, the real question, once you get past that, as a point, it's hard to digest it, but as a mental talking point, you can be like, okay, Adam, I can kind of get what you're saying. The God of the Bible is a mass murderer, sure. The God of Islam is also a mass murderer, by the way. And the God of Judaism is also a mass murderer, by the way. This is the deception that we're in. I'm saying your seeking for truth brought you to me, brought you to here. And I want to be honest about where I'm at. It brought you to flat earth. You're questioning everything around you. And I'm saying, let's not stop. Question everything. Question the body that you're in, the world that you're on, the air that you're breathing. Question everything if you're going to be on a path to truth. Not all in one day, but you got to get there. And when you eventually get around to it, join me and question the God of the Bible and the God of Islam. Don't be afraid of the God of Islam, because they threaten you with hellfire. I'm reading the comments now. I have questioned everything Constance says, and it got me where I am. I've studied tons of religious texts and took what I found my own path. Vlad is asking you if I'm an atheist. So an atheist says there is no God, and an agnostic says, from the Latin root word of being ignorant, saying an agnostic means like I don't know, I'm ignorant. So I'm neither, because if you look at my website, it's my slogan is side with the truth and you'll always be right. And I think that's what people who watch me and people who know me know that look, if you can prove me that I'm wrong or say that something is the truth, that's what I side with. I've always said for like 10 years, side with the truth and you'll always be right. And I've come to that place out of, imagine, I went to Bible college, okay? Now in second year, I got kicked out by the pastor himself. You can type in Peter Youngren, Adam Josh. I spent years exposing that preacher. He was cheating on his wife with the worship leader. They had a baby. The worship leader was also married. They decided to have the baby. Peter Youngren is an enigma. I could go on about that guy forever, but he was local to Niagara, and I spent a couple years exposing him, and from the inside. So when I'm saying don't think that I'm joking around, I am not joking around. I've had people from World Impact Ministries threaten me. I've had people from World Impact Ministries all over the world say I have no idea that he was like that. But I've taken years of my life to expose preachers. And if I was teaching something that was wrong, I would want somebody like you in this chat to expose me. So anyway, you come to the place where you realize that the God of the Bible is a mass murderer. And I came to that place I would say the mid 2000s. And so I used to pray every day. You know, I told you guys that I meditate every day. It's true, I do. I meditate every day. But what I did was I decided one day to stop praying to the God of the Bible. And a lot of people are scared to do that. They say their prayers, right? But who do you pray to? And on an energetic level, the God of the Bible, every time you say his names or pray to him, it's like ching ching. Other cultures call it loosh, feeding on human energy. Other dimensional beings that feed on our energy. And so to cut that being off and say this whole religious system, all of this stuff is designed to take our energy. And if you stop giving that energy, what happens? A lot of people are afraid. They feel like they're going to lose the protection of God and his angels. I felt like that for the first couple weeks, that I'm going to lose protection. This is like, I'm almost like 10 years later. I've met the love of my life. I own a home. I'm managing more businesses than you see here. And I'm not concerned about the God of the Bible sending me to hell. I'm being 100% honest with you right now. If I drop dead right now, I'm not worried about where I'm going. And if he wants to try to send me to hell, that's fine. It's not going to happen. So I'm not worried about that. And I'm also not afraid of death. Still, just like my 16-year-old self, I'm still not afraid of death. I've been to so many funerals in my life. Not afraid of death. So, but I want to answer one quick question before we finish this and before I finish my coffee. I'm sorry that I'm mega woking you up before like 10 a.m. Almost done this coffee. But it's been on my mind. And I don't want... yeah, I'm reading your comments. And I don't want people who watch this to get a wrong impression of me, because I know that people like Alex Jones and Owen Benjamin and even Joe Rogan play up to the Christians a little bit because they realize it's a big market. Now, you know that I'm not monetizing YouTube. I'm not selling anybody any water filters. We joke around about selling things, but I'm not selling any water filters or whatever. So as long as I'm here, and as long as we're the core group, we're the group of people that started this thing, the Morning Banana, I consider everybody here to be a part of the core group. And if it takes off, it takes off. If more people watch, they do. If you just want to reference this later in 10 years, if it's still on YouTube, then that's fine too. But I want it to be clear that I will never be able to pander to the Christian market. That's not me. I can't do it because I fundamentally cannot support mass murdering entities and people who support that. I'm a vegan now, and my path led me to veganism because I say side with the truth and you'll always be right. And I started researching about animal abuse and animal cruelty, and it got me to the point where I started empathizing with animals. It's wrong that we murder animals. Like every day there's a genocide for animals, and that's wrong. So like, what I'm saying is if you are waking up or becoming woke, this is where it all leads you. Like I'm not saying you wind up where I'm at. I'm saying you'll probably wind up worse. I'm just the type of guy who the phone call that I got yesterday kind of rattled me. It's somebody in the truth community who was like, I'm leaving everything. Quitting my job. My wife doesn't understand me. And I've been there, but I was there years ago. Like 10 years ago, probably. So this stuff can rattle you to your core. Especially, you look around, you're like, NASA is lying to me about the planet that I'm on. Santa Claus isn't real. The Easter Bunny isn't real. Like, who am I? So, what I'm saying about entities and gods. Let's get real about this real quick. So we know where Adam stands before you invest any more time into being a part of the Morning Banana Show. Because I consider that we're all here. You're not here in the office with me, but we're here, and I'm at that spiritual level where I know that you're here, and I can sense that you're here with me. So what I'm saying is, when I meditate, which I do every day, usually around 11:11, sometimes other days, I get to the point in meditation where the questions that I'm asking these days The questions that I'm asking these days are, what is all this? How did we all get here? It's very easy to say that God created it. And I'm not saying that that's not a possibility. I'm not saying it's not a possibility. I wrote an article on my website about simulation theory. Now, you can say, well, the God of the Bible created everything, but the God of the Bible, as contained in the passages of the Bible and the Quran, is a mass murderer, and I'm not okay with that. So, if the God of the Bible, as represented in the God of the Bible, created this reality that we're in, does that mean that you should submit to him on every level or stand up to him? Because you're okay about, this is what I'm saying, is like, my path, my personal path, is to exit the matrix. So I am not, so whatever entity, group entity or singular entity created this reality, I don't care, to put it one way. So I don't care that the God of the Bible created this reality. Whoop-de-doo. This reality isn't all that great. And there's a lot of things that I would change if I could. Like volcanoes, tsunamis, earthquakes. Not that great. No. Pain, suffering, starving kids in Africa with flies in their eyes. Not that great. Not a good job. I would say I could do it better. I'm not saying I could create this world better. I'm saying anybody could do it better. Because these things suck. So, whoop-de-doo on creation. Good for whoever did it. But frankly, I don't care. So, I would prefer to exit the matrix. And when I expire, I don't want to reincarnate into another cycle of life and death. My path, my goal, is to exit. I would like to get out of this whole incarnation samsara thing and get out of it. I don't want to reincarnate. People say, I want to come back as a cat. I want to come back as a dog. Christians will say, I want to rule and reign with Christ. I don't want to rule and reign with Christ. I don't want to come back. I don't want to be in the hereafter. I don't want to be in God's heaven or Satan's hell. I don't want any part of any of it. This is what I'm saying. So you can't contain me inside God's bubble. Whatever you have of your idea of God and his duality of heaven and hell and angels and devils, I don't want any of it. And I understand that there is a true and real energy that is responsible for all this. So some people say it's us, some people say it's what people have called God. So that may be the case. That is yet to be seen. But what I'm saying is, even if the real true entity, creator being that created all this, if we finally get to the point where we discover and there's a big revealing of this entity, I still don't want to, I don't care. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be reincarnated here. I don't want to be in life on Earth anymore. So to me, I'm at the end of a long journey. I feel like I've probably reincarnated probably a million times. I don't know. You guys remember any previous lives? They talk about previous lives a lot these days. But my journey is to exit. So I feel like there's a door, exit sign. I'm going to find it and go out it. I'm not going to be here again. That's my journey. I don't want any part of it. So what does it mean to exit the matrix? It means to say to the God, when you figure out who's responsible for creating all this, you tell him, good job, thanks. I appreciated the lesson. Good on ya. Don't really care. Gonna get out of here. Peace. See you later. Gonna go do my own thing. And what does doing your own thing mean? It could mean eons and eons of solitude, of just being alone. It could be going to a social commons ground that you and other beings that you've met over the course of your incarnations have decided to agree to meet on a social commons ground, like we have a social media. Earth is, the plane of Earth is a social commons ground, by the way. And so it might look like that, it might not. But I know that my path is not to stay. My path is to leave. And I apologize if that makes people angry, but my journey is not to stay. My journey is not to make peace with the devil or your gods. I don't care. I don't care about the devil or the gods. They can do whatever they want to do. I'm not doing it. I'm not a part of it. So I'm leaving. That's my journey and my goal. And I hope that we're clear about that. So, am I in the Illuminati? No. Am I a Freemason? Absolutely not. I'm just me doing my own thing, and I'm leaving. So you guys can keep your labels and your gods and Illuminatis and whatever. I don't care. So I didn't care when I was 16, and I definitely don't care now. So it's not. I studied my way out of it, and on a pathway to truth, you will wind up here or crazier. Is what I'm saying. You get to the point, maybe not this life, but maybe next life, where you decide that you don't want to reincarnate anymore. You don't want to be doing this thing perpetually. It's like a really great carnival ride, and eventually you get off of it. And that's where I'm at. I'm going to live my life to the fullest. I'm going to raise these kids as the best I can. I'm going to live as long as I can in a vegan body. And I'm going to chat with people and be the semi-quality person that I am. And then I'm leaving. And I don't want to incur any other karma. I'm not trying to do any bad things to anybody. Like I said, I went vegan. I'm not trying to give myself reasons to stay and fix mistakes. I'm trying not to make any more mistakes. So that's where I'm at. And I hope that we're clear. So I'm on a pathway to truth. And I want to side with the truth in whatever it is. If the truth is the God of the Bible is a mass murderer, then that's the truth. And I'm not okay with that. If the truth is the God of the Bible and the God of Islam is 100% light and love, then why were all these things written about the God of the Bible and the God of the Quran that completely contradict that? So, that's the Morning Banana. The truth is not a book, it's a living being. Yeah, these are concepts we talked about in Bible college a lot. I wish that heavy things like this could be as easy to explain and ponder as a couple comments. And I wish that we could get to the bottom of things like this very quickly. I wish we could. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on the Morning Banana. I got kicked out second year, by the way. So, of Bible college. For asking questions. Not allowed. I love you guys. I'll do my best to tell you the 100% truth as I know it. So, I'm not saying there's not energy. I'm not saying there's not gods and devils or hyperdimensional beings. It is all what it is. The truth is whatever the truth is. That doesn't mean that I want to stay here being part of it. But maybe there's one being that created this whole reality. Cool.